Hey everyone, and welcome back to part 10 of this game creation series. So in this video we're going to be creating an analog clock, or a real-time clock, whatever you want to call it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing we need to do is import a clock mesh. I've already made one in Blender. So as you can see, I've got the clock base, the hour hand, the minute hand, and the second hand. I'm going to bring these in. Now of course you'd want to make folders for your assets. So we can see we've got the clock mesh, the image for the mesh, and then the materials. Then we also have the hour, the minute, and the second hand as well. So we're going to use all these in a second. So once you've imported your assets, and if you want to use these assets, I know they're very basic, but if you want to use them to test or use them in your project, there'll be a link in the blog, so go ahead and check that out. So now let's go to add new, blueprint class. I'm going to add an actor, and then I'm going to rename this clock underscore blueprint. Again, you can name this whatever you want. Now once we're inside it, we need to first add the clock base. So you could go to add component and search for it, but it's a little bit easier if we close this down. Select the clock mesh, then open up the blueprint again. Now when we go to add component and then type static mesh, we can see at the bottom now it has the name of the mesh that we want to add, which is the clock. So I'm going to click this. So now I have the base. Let's add some more things. I'm going to close this down. Let's start with the hour hand. Select this one. I'm going to do the same thing. Go back. Then I'm going to go to add component and then static mesh. So now let's do the same for the next one. This one's for the minute. Now before I add this one in, I want to make sure I select the clock, because this is going to be the parent. If we had this one selected, I think it would cause us some trouble when we rotate things, so make sure you have the clock selected. Then we go to component and again type static mesh. And then let's do the last one. Again, make sure you have the clock selected, then add component. Now we have these in, all we need to do is make it work. So let's switch over to the event graph. And we could do this a number of ways. We could do this with variables. I'm going to do this very basic and simple. I'm going to right click and then type event tick. Then I'm going to drag this out. And then I'm going to type delay. Now this first delay is going to be for the second hand. So let's change this to 1. Then over in the components section here, I'm going to select the second hand and drag this out. Then from here, drag this out. Then we can type set relative rotation. And then we get these two options here. Well, we don't need to change the location, we just want to change the rotation. So I'm going to select this one. Then let's connect this up. So now let's go back to here, let's drag this out. And then this time we want to type get relative rotation. And then on this pin, if we right click, we want to split this struct pin. We know it's the z-axis that we need, so I'm going to drag this out, and I'm just going to type plus. We can use float plus float, and then we just want to plug this back into here, but we can see it's not going to work since they're not the same. So what I need to do is drag this out, and then we can type make rotator, like this, and then by default it's just plugged into the X, so I'm going to hold Control and then left click, and just place this back into the Z, which it should be. And then we can plug this return value into the new rotation. And if you want, you can connect these up, but nothing's going to change anyway, but it's just to keep it tidy, I guess. Now before we can test this, we just need to set this value here. And this is going to act as the degrees of rotation. So we just need to work out the degrees of rotation for each hand. And we can easily work that out. I'm just going to grab a calculator. So we say 360 divided by 60 is 6 degrees, so we should use 6 degrees. Change this to 6, so compile that. Let's go ahead and test this out now. so it's a little bit messy. Make sure you tidy everything up. So now we can grab the clock blueprint, bring this in, because it's far too big, and we also need to rotate it. Let's go ahead and see if this is working. So you just want to make sure it goes round and everything works fine, but that looks good to me. Now we can do the same for the other two hands. So I'm going to go back to the clock. And essentially it's just repeating this same process now. Also, if you don't want your clock to go so slowly, you just want to speed this up by reducing the number. So I'm going to select all of these. Then I'm going to press Ctrl W just to duplicate them. So let's plug this into the delay. So we know every 60 seconds we want the minute hand to move. So I'm just going to replace this one with this. Plug this into here. Plug this into here. And then we can just delete this. So for this one, actually, the rotation can be the same. Compile that. Let's go ahead and test this out now. So we're not going to see anything until the first hand has gone all the way around. Then we'll see the next hand move a minute. So we can see it probably needs to be 59 rather than 60, but we can see it works. So I'm just going to go back, change this here, go back to the delay. So it really should be 59, obviously I got that wrong. And again, we're just going to do the same thing, copy all of these, Ctrl W, connect this up. We need to replace this one with the hour hand. Connect this up. So we just need to change this now to 30. Compile it and then go ahead and test it. So now we just need to set the delay for an hour. So that would be 60 seconds times 60 minutes, which would give you 3,600. So if you wanted this to be accurate and real time, this would be 3,600. Then you can compile it. But if we sat around waiting for this to work, it'd take far too long. So I'm just going to speed these numbers up. So the last thing I'm going to do is just go back to the viewport. I don't want them all pointing at 12 from default, so let's select the hour. Let's go to the rotation. This can start from, let's say, 90 degrees, which would be 3 o'clock. So now you can go ahead and speed it up, slow it down, do whatever you want, make it look a lot better than this. But hopefully you enjoyed this video and hopefully you're enjoying the series. If you are, be sure to give this video a like. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.